what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Box Talk with Luis Madrid. I know we've been absent for a little bit, but we're back to it. Today we have a very special guest with us. If you do any kind of research, if you're ever building any type of home gyms, if you're ever looking for any type of reviews of boxing gloves or boxing gear or anything like that, there's a really good chance that this man's videos have probably popped up on your search and you probably don't even know it. So please welcome, guys. We have Carlo from CSquaredBoxing. Thank you for joining us today. It's long overdue. I appreciate it, man, for giving us a little bit of time. And it's Sunday too, so thank you. I appreciate it. So to go ahead and jump right into it, let's just go ahead and start from the beginning so the people could get to know you a little bit. Can you just tell us a little bit about your birthplace and just a little bit about your upbringing and your childhood?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm originally from the small town in the Bay Area, Northern California, called Vallejo. If you guys are familiar with the Bay, Vallejo is basically a small city about 30 minutes north of Oakland. I was born and raised there. I spent all my youth, my teen years up until the point that I graduated high school when I was 17. In the Bay, and so that's basically essentially where all my family's at in the Bay Area, and that's where I grew up. I fell in love with boxing at a young age in terms of watching the sport of boxing with my family, particularly with my dad, and grew into loving the sport. And then when I was 17, I wasn't doing too good in high school. I barely graduated at the time. I knew that I wanted to move out. I wanted to do my own thing, get a job, start working when I was 17. But I didn't really have any idea, didn't really have any kind of guidance on what I wanted to do with my life. So I ended up joining the military. I was in the Air Force and joined when it was in 2000. So this is way back, 23 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. Joined the military and started my career with that, and then just kept going at it with my career. I was in the military for 6 years and learned a lot and kind of got involved with amateur boxing at the time back in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how do you end up in Arizona afterwards? Because you've been here for a while now, right?
Yeah. So my last duty station was actually here in Glendale at Luke Air Force Base. And I got stationed there in 2005. And that's how I got introduced. Moved here to Arizona, and then I ended up falling in love with Arizona, with Phoenix, and ended up staying here until now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Now you're a family man, married with kids.
Right. Yeah, married with kids. Met my wife. She was out here going to school, and we met in 2006. 2006, and then we both, by coincidence, are both from the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
So she's been, from the Bay also. Both Filipino, and so culturally it just lined right up, made sense for the both of us, and we ended up staying out here, and we love it out here in Arizona. We live out in Gilbert.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great to hear, man. Yeah. And so as far as the channel itself, CSquaredBoxing, how did you come up with the idea of what the channel is?
Yeah, so basically back in 2011. From 2006, I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a back history. From 2006 to 2011, I was just kind of training on my own. I was working full time. We didn't have any kids yet, and boxing wasn't really something I was doing at the time. Just only really for fitness and staying in shape. And then in 2011, I was actually looking at getting a new pair of Fulton Reyes boxing gloves. As a matter of fact, that was my very first official YouTube video. Was a red pair of Reyes boxing gloves. And I was looking on YouTube, and YouTube was a little different back in 2011 compared to where it is now. Now it's a whole big thing. Influencers. I mean, it's huge. It's almost like it's replaced TV. People don't really watch television as much anymore. Everyone's on streaming apps, Hulu, Netflix, all that. And YouTube is one of them. But in 2011, I was looking for reviews on the Reyes gloves, and there was only one channel, shout out to Rate This Gear, that had a really good review on the gloves at the time, but there was really nothing else on YouTube. So I was like, you know what? Let me make a video. I got the gloves. And I was like, you know what, let me put a video out there. That way I'm kind of paying it forward. So there's a little bit more information that people could look up on YouTube. And then from there, that's where it started. And then it just kind of kept snowballing and turning into more and more people would leave comments and said that, you know, Carlo, man, you're good at these videos. You should do more. And that's where that really started, was from that initial video. And keep in mind, I had no experience with making videos. I did that very first video. If you look at it, the quality is really bad. I didn't even know how to use a camera. It was actually my desktop PC that I did it on. So it was really basic.
What kind of editing software do you have back then?
Nothing. It was literally nothing. I think it was like Windows Media Player or whatever.
Movie Maker.
Movie Maker. Yeah, it was really shitty.
Is that like Windows 7 or something?
Yeah.
Or Windows Vista or something like that?
And it was funny because the camera on the computer monitor, I mean, it's like one of those little, you know, the pixel. I mean, if you watch the video today, you'll see it.
Back then it was used for Skype, right? I think I had a computer like that too for college.
For Skype. I mean, it's
pictures and stuff like
that. It's been over like.
It's just out of curiosity, how much were Cleto Reyes gloves back in 2011? Were they the same or more?
No, they were actually cheaper. Back in those days, I mean, you know, not by much, but I remember those Reyes gloves when I got them. I think they were like 100, 130, 140. Now they're just like everything else with inflation. I think Reyes now are like 190, almost $200.
For sure. And so, can you talk to us a little bit about the actual channel? So, is it pretty much just reviews, or is there other stuff on there too?
Yeah, I mean, there is more stuff on there, but the main nucleus, the main content is going to be the reviews. And that's essentially what I'm always going to stick with. That's what people know my channel for, right? And that's the content I want to give them. And I would say probably 90% of the videos are reviews. A good other portion of the videos, well, I take that back. I want to say 90% because I've done a lot of my videos now are videos of me training with the gear on. And I actually started doing that. That way people can actually see me using the equipment. They know I'm training. I mean, I'm in the gym 6 days a week. I mean, people that know me personally, my family, my wife, obviously, close friends, they know how much of a workaholic, a trainaholic I am, running 3 to 4 miles every day. So for me, I train like, I mean, I train like a real boxer. Like I train, I try to eat good, diet well. So everything is really there. In the portion of the videos you guys see me training in, I'm always drenched in sweat. I'm working because that's what I do. It's, to me, the video reviews and me using the equipment is kind of a byproduct of my training and not the other way around. I don't train because I want to use a glove.
You keep it authentic.
Right. I'm 100 with it. So, I would say, yeah, the majority is going to be the video reviews. I did a couple of videos where I would review fights, but I feel like that's not really my niche when it comes to boxing. And I kind of dabbled in that with fight reviews, but there's also a lot of like copyright stuff where they edit my sound out, or if there's background. So there's a lot of like plagiarism with that. And again, I'm just not as passionate about, you know, talking about fights as I am the content that I do with the reviews. And there's a lot of other channels that do that very well.
So let's go ahead and jump right into what you are passionate about.
Sure.
So I actually have a quick question. I know that for 2020, you know, it was a really bad year for a lot of people, a lot of businesses and stuff like that. And I don't know this personally. I would just assume this is actually how I found out about your channel. Would you say that 2020 was one of your best years with YouTube, since that's when a lot of people were like looking for advice on how to build home gyms and stuff like that?
100%. That was my best year by far. And I knew it because, you know, the silver lining, because I never would want to spin a positive thing on something like COVID during the pandemic, because that was definitely a bad thing worldwide for everybody. But for me, at least for the channel, the silver lining in it was that once it hit and everything closed down, obviously gyms closed down, everybody was looking to take their training to their house, to their home. And I started looking at it in that regard of, okay, how can I take what I have already and make it even better? And so what I started doing was doing a lot more videos of how-tos, how to hang your heavy bag, how to hang a double end bag, you know, how to fill a heavy bag, And then I would do some fundamental boxing videos, how to throw a jab, how to throw a straight right. And those definitely were probably the best videos in terms of like views and just growing the channel. Just because so many people clicked on those videos, like how do I hang a heavy bag? I've never done this before. I mean, I even had a video which is an idea, is like, how do I get a heavy bag that's 100 to 150 pounds hung up on the ceiling? But how do I actually get to lift if I'm just the only person? Because there's a lot of people that live by themselves, and it's hard to hang a heavy bag because you don't have anybody there to hold it while you're flipping it on. So I went to like Harbor Freight and got a hoist where I was hoisting up the heavy bag, and just all kinds of ways to get creative on how you can make your own home gym and how you can make it work for you. So yeah, but to answer your question, by far 2020 was my best year with that. And I also did that kind of strategically. I started kind of make my videos to be more around the home gym experience.
Yeah, like I mentioned, not to get too off topic, but I used to go to a regular gym. I used to go to Sonny's boxing gym, and at that point I was going through a weight loss journey, and I had lost like 60 pounds, and then everything just shut down, and it gets depressing seeing the weight get back.
Yeah.
Just like, I need to de-stress. That's what my de-stressor was, so I started to slowly create, setting up stuff. And shout out to Gonzo, actually. He's hosting us here. This is his home gym. He used to put most of my stuff up, actually, so he would help me with a lot of stuff. And then one of my other friends that would come help me or come train with me sometimes at the home gym, he actually mentioned your channel too. He's like, have you ever heard of CSquaredBoxing?
Yeah.
Send me the link, and I started looking through it. So definitely, every time I'm curious, I'll just type in the search box, and even if I don't go straight to your channel, most of the time it's your channel that comes up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I figured 2020 was big time for you.
For sure.
And so as far as the name CSquaredBoxing, what's the meaning behind that? How'd you get that name?
Yeah, it's actually my wife's first initial and my first initial together.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I came up with that name of the channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I figured, that it was something with two C's, but I was thinking that maybe it was like your middle name, or your name or something.
Close. Yeah. No, when I made the channel, I was like, what can I do with boxing? But it's kind of clever, but not corny, but good, has some meaning to it.
For sure. And so as far as the reviews that, you do, like I said, you do reviews for anything you could think of, from sweatsuits to sparring gear, headgear, gloves, bags, everything you could think of. You basically review everything boxing related when it comes to equipment. So I think the $1 million question that a lot of people have, and I see this a lot when you do polls and stuff on Instagram.
Yep.
Everybody wants to know, where does he get the equipment? What does he do with it? Do you sell it? Do you buy it? Do you get sponsors? Like, what can you tell us about that without, I don't want to like blow on.
No. It's no, I mean, it's completely transparent.
Yeah.
I would say at this point, well, when I originally started it's changed over the years. So when I first started, I was buying everything myself. I'll buy it out of my own money. And then as the channel grew and I started reviewing more equipment, it became my channel, then became kind of like the influencer. And I don't know why I don't like that term influencer, because when I first started my channel, there wasn't really the whole influencer thing. That wasn't really like a word back in 2011. So it's kind of morphed into what you see now as influencers. I guess that's the category I'm under, but it's really evolved. So now where it's at currently, I would probably say 75-80% of the gear I have, I still purchase with my own money.
Right.
So it's almost like a recycling type system, to where, the channel is monetized. I make some money from the channel, then I can use the money you make from the channel to buy new gear. And then I would probably say the other 20% is gear that they send to me for free. Okay. So the companies, especially a lot of the newer companies that are not as known, will definitely send me free gear and say, hey, can you do a review on this equipment? No pressure. And then I'll tell them, like, yeah, definitely, it looks interesting. There is definitely some companies that will reach out to me too, some of the smaller ones that I've never heard of, that their gear looks like they're kind of copying or they're plagiarizing another brand. And I'm like, I don't know if I can't do that. Respectfully, I just can't review that, because I feel like I'm just doing a re-review of something else that's already out there with just a different logo on it. Right. So I'm at this point where I've seen so much equipment now where it's like, okay, if you're not bringing something completely new or you're not an existing well-known brand, it's really hard for me to be like, okay, let me go out and review that because you're not really doing anything different.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say 80% I still purchase, and the other 20% is gear that they will definitely send to me for free. I'll try out, I'll review. And 99% of the time I end up keeping the gear. Sometimes there's companies that will want to buy if it's a more expensive gear and they want it back. I'm like, that's fine. Yes, I don't have to keep it. I'll send it back to you guys. Just give me, return address, shipping. The stuff that I do have, I would say, depending on the equipment, the gear, I'll sell some of it. So you'll see on my Instagram post, I'll put it on my story, like, I'm selling these winning gloves. I'm selling these rival gloves. A good chunk of my gear too, though, I do donate. So Adams Boxing, Carlos with Adams, the owner of Adams Boxing, he does Adams Footwear. They do a lot of the boxing shoes. You see, I've done a lot of reviews on his equipment as well. He actually has every year, I think it's around Thanksgiving, he does like a donation to the underprivileged children in Mexico. Okay. So I'll send a lot of gear there. I've donated gear to some gyms here locally in the Phoenix area. I try to find gyms that are nonprofit. That way, when I do donate the equipment, it's going to kids that maybe can't afford it or don't have the access to get a good pair of boxing gloves. So I usually put them in boxes or some big bags, wrap them up, and then I'll just drive out to the gyms and just give the equipment away. I mean, I'm not big into collecting equipment just because it doesn't really make sense to me to have. I'm not a big collector. I don't have like an entire room or a small bedroom, one bedroom apart with gloves and boxes. It's like, it makes no sense to me. I'd rather just give the glove, either sell them, donate them, just do something with the gloves rather than just letting them collect dust.
That was actually what I was going to ask you. I'm like, so I could just envision this whole crazy room full of stuff. So in my head, I'm like, so when it's time to get a workout, how the hell do you decide what you want to use there when you have like 10,000 pairs of gloves?
It's funny you say that because people ask me a lot on the channel or even on other social media. They're like, oh, when are you going to show us the collection? I'm like, I really don't have a collection. I just kind of get rid of the gloves as I get. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of pairs that I really like that I'll keep for myself. Okay. I'll keep in my house and I'll keep those for a very long time. Custom pairs, custom stuff with my logo, really expensive gloves that I really like. So I'll keep a couple definitely, but for the most part, I don't try to hang on to the wall.
For sure. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So switching gears a little bit. As far as professional boxing, what were some of the fighters that you enjoyed watching growing up, and then what are some of the fighters that you enjoy watching today?
Yeah, definitely. So growing up, obviously Mike Tyson, and a lot of people actually get surprised by my age. I'm 40 years old right now, so I grew up in the era in the pretty much the late 80s, early 90s is when I really understood boxing, because when you're younger, you look at boxing from a different set of eyes. You look at it as like two people just swinging at each other. Mm-hmm. You don't really understand the science behind it. As you get older and you mature, you start to realize, okay, these guys aren't just throwing punches. There's something that's going on here with the technique, their defense. So my very first fight that I remember really watching and understanding it was 1991, the fight in Japan with Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. That was the very first fight, and Tyson ended up losing that fight. So that was the very first one. But I would say Tyson in the 90s, definitely Roy Jones Jr., James Toney. And then in the early 2000s, when Manny Pacquiao came to the States, he had his very first fight. He was a fill-in against Led Waba. And Led Waba's original opponent wasn't able to fight. So they replaced his opponent with Pacquiao, and nobody even knew who he was at the time. Was this small Filipino fighter that came. So obviously Manny, just being Filipino as well, was one of the big ones. Nonito Donaire, I love his style of fighting. His very accurate, powerful, that left hook he has. But yeah, I'd say growing up, Roy Jones Jr., James Toney, Julio Cesar Chavez was a big one. Pernell Whitaker was huge. I would also watch a lot of old videos. They call them they call them the Four Kings with Hagler, Hearns.
The welterweight?
Yep, the welterweights, Duran and Leonard. So I used to watch a lot of those old videos of them too. Currently, If we're talking right now as of today, I love Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta is an amazing fighter. I'd say my current favorite is our local fighter here, David Benavidez. Just because I saw, David in person training when he was younger. Before he turned pro, back when they were doing some training out in Gilbert, Arizona, or is Mesa Power MMA, there was a period of time where David and his family was training there. So just being able to be kind of around them and seeing how they trained and just at that level was really eye-opening for myself. But then knowing like what I've seen and where he is now, and you see, he just had his last fight a couple of weeks ago against Caleb Plant, was amazing. So I say David's definitely my favorite right now. Gervonta Davis, Inoue from Japan. I know he's going up in weight to fight Stephen Fulton. So those are some of my current favorites. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
For sure. And I know you had kind of mentioned this to me. I wasn't sure if you were just kind of teasing around or if it was serious, but do you still think of doing a fight or a couple fights in amateurs or some type of competition, exhibition or something?
Yeah, definitely amateurs. There was a point in time where I was training even harder than I am now. I was like 140 pounds. I was on point with weight. If I were to make a transition to the pro level, then it would have been the time to do that. Was like 10 years ago. But for me to speak on the pro side of things, I guess I get that question quite a bit too. I understand what the pros go through, the sacrifices they make in terms of the physical commitments. Boxing is a lonely sport, but it's also a very selfish sport. By that meaning that they call it a young man sport because, by the mid 30s, you're considered to be an old man in boxing. Right. 40, you're definitely an old man. You should be in the ring. That's what most people will say. And it's a young man sport for a reason, because not only from a physical standpoint, but because you don't have a lot of typically you don't have a lot of responsibilities when you're younger. You can really focus on honing your skills as a boxer. Typically don't have no kids. You usually, it's just you can be completely selfish, dedicated to the sport. And that's, to me, the best time to go pro, is because you can focus all that energy, both mentally and physically, into it. And I just never had that. I never really had the level of dedication you need to be at the pro level. And for me personally, I'm a 100% or 0% person. If I want to do something, I'm going to go 100%. I'm not going to just half-ass it. Right. And just kind of, you know what, let me just stick my foot in a little bit and see how it goes. Like, no, because that's not the way I like to operate. Right. So as far as a pro goes, I've got that asked quite a few times now. No. And as far as amateur, yes. Just because I like to test myself in terms of just the fighting aspect of it. The last time I had an amateur fight was in 2015. Oh. I did want to do the Masters tournament. Sonny's has a Masters. They have a Las Vegas Masters. They have Masters tournaments all over the States. The last time I had my pass book was 2 years ago, but it was right before COVID hit. So the 1 year that I was going to do the tournament was 2020. COVID hit, and everything shut down.
Yeah, we're beating up on 70-year-old men.
Dude, you know that? Look, man, that stuff didn't go. It's like everybody, when they see me, they think I'm like 20. Yeah. So like I'll spar guys half my age, and then they find out I'm like old enough to be their dad, and they're like, shit, like, dude, you're 40? I'm like, yeah, man, like, I know, like, it's genetics, bro, like Asian Filipino genetics, like we just look different. Everybody thinks we're a lot younger than we are. So that's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, if I get into the Masters, I want to look, these dudes are going to be the same age as me, but look like they're my dad. Yeah. And here I am just, beating up on these old dudes when technically I'm the same age as them. So I don't know. It's fun.
It's like with Floyd. They always used to say Floyd would fight old people, but he would fight people that were older than him.
Yeah.
It's just when he was 36, 38, he was still super sharp.
Well, for the record, speaking about Floyd, just kind of off topic, it's funny because when people would say that Floyd was waiting for Manny to get old, and I'm a big Pacquiao fan, but I say how it is, right? Yeah. They're like, oh, well, Floyd was waiting to fight Manny because he wanted him to get old. And then I'm like, Floyd technically is like 3 years older than Manny. I think he's like 3 or 4 years older. So they really make sense from that. Since you mentioning Floyd, I'm like, he was older than Manny. I'm like, if he's older, then he's older too. Yeah. So yeah.
And so my final question for this segment is, what visions do you have for the channel to just continue to keep growing it?
Yeah, so the channel, I'm going to continue to keep it the same in terms of the reviews. over time, I want to kind of evolve video quality wise, get better video, better lighting, just a better visual experience. I recently just did a different intro for the channel, so I'll continue to do that. But I also have a couple other things under the works in terms of like possibly looking at the boxing gym, boxing promotion side of things, and even equipment side of things. So, but the equipment, I'm going to use that very loosely, because if I say anything like gloves or shoes or whatnot, I know people will kind of jump on that. But there's a lot of things I'm kind of working undercover right now, and that I won't show until it's really ready. But there's definitely that coming, and then the evolution with the channel. My thing with my channel is I've never looked at it where I want to make it as a money-making type channel. It does well for itself, but my intention was never to get into this from a monetary standpoint. You know, I didn't get into this YouTube channel. If I did, it would be kind of stupid, because this is probably not the best niche or channel to try to make money from. You know, the channels that do really well are the ones that are like, you know, the gaming channels that, you know, you watch this guy play Fortnite for 3 hours.
Pranks and all that.
Yeah, pranks and stuff like that. Those are the channels that do a lot of views, and, you know, that's what it is. That's what people like to watch. So this is a niche. This is for the people that want to stay true to it, that want to come and look at boxing equipment, MMA equipment, headgear. And I'm going to continue to keep it true to that. And I might add or subtract things here and there, but I like it just slow and steady. If it goes fast one time and it comes down, that's fine. Just keep it slow and steady, and I'll be fine.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for giving us some of that stuff, man. That's good stuff. To go ahead and transition into a different segment that I have here.
Yeah.
It's just quick fight breakdowns. I have 3 fights for you, and just let me know what you think, and you know how you think it's gonna play out. Okay.
Absolutely.
The first fight that I have for you is obviously the big fight we have this upcoming Saturday. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. How do you see that going down?
Yeah, you know, that's a really good fight. My first instinct is that Gervonta is going to knock out Ryan. I'd say probably in the 7th or 8th round. But on the flip side, I think people underestimate Ryan also. I think they look at, one thing I would say in boxing is you got to separate the actual boxing and the outside, you know, how people look at it from a publicity standpoint, because everybody looks at Ryan, you know, he's this good looking dude, and social media, Instagram, he's modeling and all of that, which is fine, but he's still a boxer at heart. He's still training like a boxer would. He still had a great amateur career. So people kind of forget that, because they see all this other extracurricular things he's doing, so they think, oh, he's soft, he's a pretty boy. I'm like, no, dude, like, this dude still got skills. He can punch. He's the fastest, in my opinion, he's the fastest puncher in boxing.
Well,
if you were to look at just purely speed. So those are things you have to account for. And I definitely think, you know, we spoke about this. I think there could be a flash knockdown. I think he could catch. Tank hasn't been. They both haven't fought anybody like each other. Now, the thing about Tank, though, is Tank is tested. His resume is far superior than Ryan's. Tank has fought better quality, current and past champions. You know, yeah, if he fought Gamboa. I mean, Gamboa, I know is Gamboa, but he's fought Gamboa. He fought Mario Barrios. He's fought all kinds of different.
Pedraza when he was still good.
Pedraza when he was still good. Santa Cruz is a
4 or 5 time world champion.
Right, multiple time world champion, and he knocked Santa Cruz out. And you know, obviously Raleigh, you know, that was a good fight too until he knocked him out. So you know, Gervonta has a great resume. I mean, to me, Ryan, you know, out of looking at his resume, his one true opponent was Luke Campbell. And Campbell dropped him.
Yeah.
Granted,
He doesn't have a lot of power either.
no. But Ryan came back, and I gave him. He got him with that body shot, that liver shot. But I definitely think that's a fight that Gervonta is going to win, just based on his experience.
Going like a late round stoppage, like 8-9.
I think so.
10 maybe.
Yeah, I think a late round stoppage.
For sure. The next fight that we have for you is a little bit more technical. We got Devin Haney versus Loma.
Yeah, so this is a good one too, because I feel that Loma is starting to show his age a little bit. You know, I think it started with the Teofimo fight, when he fought Lopez. Although I think in the later rounds of that fight, Loma started to pull away. He came on strong. And I think that's after he started to kind of figure out Lopez and what Lopez was doing. but Lopez, excuse me, is a much bigger fighter too. Power. So,
It's almost like Loma respected him too much early.
exactly. So I think people are looking at Loma that he's getting older. He's kind of on the downside of his career, which is true. I think he is getting a little older. So he's not as snappy, not as sharp as he used to be. I think Devin is definitely the bigger boxer in terms of size, but Devin's not really known for his power either. He's known for his technical boxing ability. I honestly think that this is a trap fight for Haney. Yeah. I think that people are overlooking Lomachenko, and I think they say, oh, because he's getting older and Devin Haney's bigger. I don't think Devin Haney has the same power that Lopez has, and I think yes, he's a better, more pure boxer, skilled boxer. But I think Loma is going to win a decision.
And it looks like, and also, I don't know if you've noticed, but Devin is a really big guy physically, and he's struggling a lot to make 135. Like, if you see him in the weigh-ins for Cambosos, he looks terrible.
He looks terrible. Yeah, he looks drained.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
That might play a factor into it.
It might definitely play a factor, especially in the later rounds.
Right.
Yep.
For sure. And then the last one that I have, you kind of touched base on it a little bit, the Inoue and Fulton fight.
Yeah. So Fulton, great fighter, very slick. Inoue is going up in weight, and this is the first guy that we had talked about that. He's taking on to it. Yeah, he's gone straight to it, and I love that though. Yeah. I love fighters that. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, and that's the thing. People put too much stock into wins and losses nowadays. Back in the day, wins it came with the territory.
Durant had like 16 losses and he's still considered a legend.
It's like playing football and expecting to never throw an interception as a quarterback. It's going to happen, right? I mean, this is part of it comes with the territory, and anyhow, but I think in a way, aside from the physical attributes he has, his speed, his power, his footwork, especially that very balanced way, he kind of reminds me of Pacquiao. Fulton has a really great jab, very long-rangey jab. He likes to snap it a lot. The thing about Inoue is I feel like he's one of the best at studying his opponent. He's one of those fighters that is going to look for anything he can exploit. And he did the same thing with Nonito Donaire. And he fought Donaire twice.
Right.
The second fight when he knocked out Donaire, he got him with a really crisp right hand, straight right. Because he knew that Donaire likes to load on his counter right. He likes to do a slip counter with the right over the jab.
Right.
And Inoue knew that. He planned for that. It's just like when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao. That wasn't a lucky punch.
Well, it was calculated.
It's calculated. And Inoue,
especially 4 fights, you get their habit.
Figure it out. Yeah. At least the smart boxers will figure it out. You should.
And Marquez was always a calculated puncher, counter puncher.
Yeah, exactly. And how do you beat a guy that's as fast as Manny? You have to figure out his time. So I think Inoue is going to do the same thing. He's going to figure out something with Fulton with his jab, where he's going to maybe take his jab away from him and then land a really good body shot or a right hand over the top. And I could definitely see him knocking him out 6th or 7th round. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, no, he's going up in weight.
I'm going to be shocked.
I think they're going to be shocked what he's going to do, in my opinion.
That sounds like a good fight, man. I'm excited. Is it in Japan or is it in the US?
It's in Japan, but it got delayed. I think Inoue
They pushed it to July, huh?
Yeah,
it was initially going to be in May, I believe, and then he got hurt.
He got injured,
yeah.
And then they pushed it to July, and a lot of people were like, oh, he's not done. Yeah, he's not ready. I'm like, well, they made it official again.
He's the one that chased the fight. He's the one that wanted that fight.
Right. Well, if he didn't want to fight him, he would have been fighting a tune-up right now. He wouldn't be fighting the best guy at that class.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. Well, we got one last segment for you to finish up here. So I call this segment 12 rounds. It's kind of like rapid fire / getting to know you. Most of it is off the topic of boxing, just for, the people to get to know your funny side and just a little bit more on a personal level, all right? So the first question that I have for you is, when you wake up in the morning, what's the very first thing that enters your head? What's your very first thought?
My wife.
Your wife? All right. Question number 2 is, do you follow any other sports closely?
Yes, NFL and Warriors. So I'm a Niners fan. I'm sure you guys have seen my hats and my videos over the years.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm a big Bay Area sports fan. Niners, Warriors, Sharks, Giants in Oakland. I follow. I'm not a big baseball guy, so I just represent the Bay in general. But yeah, definitely the 49ers. I'm hoping we can finally make it happen. And Brock Purdy's dope. He's from Gilbert, Arizona. If you're ever watching this, Brock, after bat, he's from Gilbert. But yeah, Niners, Warriors, and and Sharks for sure.
You've been here long enough can you at least show a little bit of love?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, when the Niners are playing the Cardinals, nah, I can't mess with that.
At least like Devin Booker or something.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Though, it's funny because I think the Suns play today. Yeah. So
game 1 against the Clippers.
They got game 1. The Clippers, the Warriors, they lost last night to Sacramento. But you know what? If the Warriors, I would love to see the Suns win it because I've been living in Phoenix back in the day when it was Steve Nash, Mari, Sean Marion, back in those days, and I wanted to see the Suns because the Warriors sucked back then. If you guys are a real Warriors fan, they were outside of the We Believe team with Baron Davis and Run TMC back in the 90s, and the Warriors have always been bad. So I remember back in the day, they couldn't even give tickets away for the Warriors game. You could go to Safeway, they would just be giving them out. And so, yeah, I've always rooted for the Suns to do good, other than when they're playing the Warriors. If the Warriors don't go all the way this year, man, I would love for the Suns. I mean, they kind of have to. They gave up a lot for KD, and they need something.
Hopefully, man.
Because I don't think the Cardinals are going to be bringing that championship anytime soon.
I don't even want to talk about that. Buda Baker just requested a trade.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Question number 3 is, if a movie was made about your life story, who do you think would play you in the movie?
Who would play me? Ooh, that's a hard. Man, I'm trying to think of who could play me. What's that guy's name in The Walking Dead? He's Korean. Glenn. He's Glenn from Walking Dead. Got his name in real life though. He just did a movie, a great series on Netflix called Beef.
Does that sound familiar, Josh? I don't know who.
Yeah. This guy was a badass. He's a badass actor. I love his. He's been in some great shows. Stephen Young or Young. Stephen Young. Yeah.
All right. Cool. And then let's see. What's the next one? What was your question number 4? Is what was your favorite childhood cartoon?
Oh, Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtle. Michelangelo. That was my dude.
For sure. Question number 5 is, what is your music playlist like? So if we put your phone on shuffle, what are we gonna hear?
It's kind of embarrassing, bro. I did it. Yeah, I mean, it'll go from like Tupac to like
Swift.
Yeah, to like Taylor Swift. And when Taylor Swift or whatever, I kind of look around because for whatever reason in my mind, I think other people could hear this. Hopefully nobody's hearing it all. Like the BGs or something will come on, like Stand Alive, like a little one Tupac, or like, something real hard come on. Like,
you're on the treadmill listening to Taylor Swift.
Yeah. You know what? It's all good, man. I like
what else is on there?
Oh man, a lot of 80s. Tears for Fear.
I would hope that you've been from Northern California. You got some good bands.
Oh, I got the day, man. I got Mac Dre, E40, Sally Cell, Spice One, Mario Posse, Andre Nicotina. And pretty much every Bay Area artist I probably have on my phone.
Okay. Cool. Question number 6 is, what movie or movies have made you cry before or shed a tear?
Ooh, probably the most recent, which is I thought was pretty sad, man, was Furious 7. I know it's kind of corny to say that, but that movie with when Paul Walker died, because I'm a big car guy. Paul Walker passed away. And then they had to finish that movie with, I think his brothers had kind of like filled in for him, and they had the CGI. But they did like this little ending scene, and that made me tear up. I tried to hide it out, but because we were in the theater,
we'll take glasses to the.
But yeah, and of course they got to do that ending montage. Stuff, man. Like, it was good though. I wanted to cry for sure.
And then question number 7 is, what is the most popular video on your channel, and what was that video about?
Oh, like the most popular?
The one that did the most.
The most viewed video I want to say is, how to hang a heavy bag.
It's 2020. Told you.
I think it's how to hang it. It's one of the how-to videos.
I've seen that one multiple times where your son's helping you.
Yeah. People kind of give you shit for that because there's one part where he's like standing on a ladder. They're like, "Oh, it's unsafe. He's standing on the ladder." Oh, he's on that ladder for like maybe 9 seconds. To hang, and he's not even hanging. I'm the one who's doing all the work. All he has to do is grab the clip, clip it on. I mean, it's like it.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, but did you answer?
Yeah.
I blacked out. My bad, bro.
How to hang a heavy bag.
All right, cool. All right, and then let's see. What's the next one? The question number 8 is, what's your favorite thing to eat after a really hard workout? So let's say it doesn't matter if it's from the street or home cooked or whatever, but if you just had a killer workout,
Yeah.
what would be your go-to?
My go-to after an amazing workout will probably be pho. A lot of people say pho, basically that Vietnamese soup. I have that, but like a good protein shake from like One Stop Nutrition. Get one of those protein shakes, have some pho, the broth, the noodles, because you could put all the vegetables into it, the bean sprouts, the mint, the basil, and it just has a lot of carbs, it has some meat in it, it has a little bit of everything, and it just tastes really good. It's kind of like wholesome.
Are you vegan, man?
No, I'm not. I eat it. I'm on seafood diet.
All right, cool. All right, and then the next question is really simple, but it's always a big debate.
Sure.
When it comes to wings, are you flats or drums?
Ooh, flats. I say flats.
I mean, if you gotta think about it that much, it's not that hot of a response because a lot of people get like crazy about it.
Really?
Flats, bro. Of course, flats.
Well,
Bro.
I like them both. With the drums, you get a lot more meat, but the flats, I feel like the skin, the way it crisps better, and the bite's more it's kind of, oh my god, getting scientific, but it's like parallel. Your bite more parallel with it, and you get that little bone and that little piece in there. Yeah, I'd say.
All right, cool. We got 3 more questions here. Question number 10 is, if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Where would you take him?
Where would I take him? Honestly, my house, because then he could show me all the technique, his technique and his wisdom. I'll be like, bro, I got a heavy bag here. I got everything we need.
Right.
You know.
Cool. Yeah. Question 11 is, do you prefer night workouts or early morning workouts?
Early morning.
Early morning?
Yeah, because that's when your metabolism, you're getting up, you're going, and then you can do the rest of your day.
So you're not like Mayweather, you're not running at 3 in the morning or something?
I'm sleeping.
You're at the boxing gym at 1?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I get the whole why he does that. I mean, it makes sense because that's when the fight comes. The fight's at night.
Right.
So he's basically making his schedule to where.
And it's like a mind game too that he plays with his opponents. Like he'll run from the club and stuff, but he does, yeah.
At that level, I get it. It makes sense.
For sure. And then the final question that I have for you is, does pineapple belong on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Nope.
Nope. Nor does chicken.
Not even close?
Nope. Nope. I can't. Nope. Don't do pineapple or chicken. Just nah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, before we go ahead and do the outro, man, I want to say thank you to Gonzo, man. Big thank you to Gonzo's Boxing Gym, for hosting us today. I really appreciate it. And if you have kids in Phoenix that are going through bullying, having problems with bullying, or if you just want to, get fit, whether it's adults or kids, we'll be sure to leave the link. We'll tag the links in the description or on the screen, the Instagram, whatever, so you can go ahead and reach out. And if you're, in the West Valley or you don't mind a little bit of a drive, you can go ahead and, schedule a workout with Coach Gonzo. But other than that, man, I really appreciate it. This was a really fun conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for making some time for me on a Sunday to go ahead and sit down. And I appreciate it, man. Any last words that you have for your supporters, followers, anybody?
Yeah.
Social media?
Yeah, no, well, first off, thank you. I appreciate, you having me. It's been a long time coming. I know we've been talking about this for a very long time. So for us to finally come out and do this and for it to materialize, I'm so happy for that. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching this video, all of my supporters, the subscribers, the followers. I do this channel for all of you guys. I'm passionate about boxing, obviously the boxing equipment that goes along with it. But ultimately, I just want everybody to be able to benefit from the channel and hopefully get the information that you're looking for. That way you guys can make educated decisions on what you're getting and basically just sharing the knowledge that I have with you guys and just making it an overall better experience for people in the sport of boxing, as well as other combat sports, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. So I definitely appreciate it.
Awesome. Perfect, man. Well, again, I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Box Talk with Luis Madrid. God bless.